Okay, this is the second video. So you're still getting the placement down. Okay, you're not a Xerox machine, so you're not going to get this perfect. You want it to be an impression of what you have. Okay. I'm not going to worry about my foreground to the very last. I'm just getting some foundation of dark work there, so I know kind of where it's at. And I'm going to put circles there. And you want to kind of judge what's dark and what's light. Okay. So you can see here I'm just getting some lines in there so we can tell that this is water. I'm using the sharp side of my tool. I might want to put a couple strokes in there, kind of tint up the paper in certain aspects. And I'm just building. Notice we haven't used the dark yet. Right? Now we can bring the dark charcoal in. So we can get a piece out. And you can use the corners to make certain things more rich and darker. And increase that contrast and make things sharper. Take your finger and blend it out. And this should have a farther stretch to blend than this does. It's going to have a higher contrast. So I can go in there, put a little bit of texture up on the top, go to the bottom. You can use the whole thing, lay it down darker, make it richer. Start smoothing it out so it has a darker look to it. You will get really messy using charcoal. You should be able to see a couple different values already in my trees. And just trying to get the texture, emulate that texture of the trees. I'm just going to go up and down, do some zigzag lines, try to get their peaks in there. Try to make it look like that background landscape that's so dark already, but add texture of the tops of the trees so it kind of looks like where it's going. And we can do that and go with the bottom here. Start adding lines where the stones are, try to get the shadows, cover them up, blend them out. And we can get highlights a different couple kinds of ways. We can get highlights by taking our eraser and getting the edge, and we can erase things. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see that too well. It's pretty light. I'm just doing lines with my eraser now, and I'm getting a different texture. I'm going down, erasing a lot, coming up, so it erases a little bit more. Get that kind of texture going in. Okay, if I wanted to, I can just dab, try to get some light in my trees. You might need to take your eraser and kind of clean it off on the table. That's how you're adding texture. You can do that in the clouds. You put some, little circles in there. Get that texture going. Those highlights. Maybe a couple swoops, right? And you can also take the white charcoal. Remember, you want to wait to the white charcoal about the end, and then you can add the white to there and make that highlight up. And that's going to give you more of a highlight than the eraser, but it's also going to blend and give you grays. And you're just going to keep building your blacks. You're going to keep building your lights. You're taking away your lights, until you get an image that kind of resembles what you're doing. If you want to buy a pencil eraser, I highly suggest that. They'll help you put like little highlights where you need it. Using an eraser like this, or even the black eraser, you can do the corner, but you can only do the corner for so long. And then basically then you have a flat surface. And you want to go back between the hard and the vine charcoal and just build up your blacks until you kind of get what you want. Like for these bushes here, I want to go with the vine, and I can bring it in. Add the sticks. And I get towards the end. Do my forking out there. Some wisps. A couple more branches. I can definitely, if I wanted to kind of give it a little 3D effect, I could add a few highlight lines, make them pop out a little bit. A line on one side. Oop. And like for the bottom where there's like tall grass, just going to want to shade this down, kind of. Wisp it up. And then I can take my eraser and just do like blades of grass going up. And you want to make it look like the blades are coming from different, not just one area, like from back, behind, closer, And you can reinforce them a little bit by going back over, You can get some dark wisps in there. And again, the same thing, you want the, forward and backwards. You want like little tiny ones. So you play with that dark and light, so you have a nice composition. Pretty much this is the end of video 2. That should be the 2 videos that you're going to need to get started. If you have more questions, ask your art teacher.